everyone, and welcome to this video exploring paradigmatic choices. Paradigmatic choices are all about choosing one thing over another and what effect this has. This is Ferdinand de Saussure. You might remember coming across him briefly in your communication and language module in first year. No, he's not a 21st century hipster, though you might think it from the outstanding handlebar moustache. He's a 19th to 20th century semiotician. Saussure said that signs mean because of what they are not. Words, and we can apply it to images, objects and products as well, gain their meaning from their relationship to and their difference from other words and things. So, if you think about it, paradigmatic analysis is as much about absences as it is about presences. Let's think about the word and concept man, or to be more specific, the culturally and ideologically loaded concept of being a real man. Ideas of femininity are just as important to definitions of that concept as definitions of masculinity are. So, in that sense, masculinity is as much about what it is not, femininity, as what it is. The relationship between masculinity and femininity in notions of the real man have shifted over time. Consider these two ads for Gillette. In the first, from the 90s, there is a definite sense of masculinity being tied in with being not feminine. In the more recent campaign, focusing on the best a man can be, the definition of a real man includes, or indeed even requires, engagement with what would traditionally have been thought of as feminine characteristics, such as sensitivity and emotion. Let's watch the broadcast ad from the latest campaign to get more of a sense of that.
To movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it? We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
But she says
And there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Smile, sweetie.
Come on.
To say the right thing. To act the right way.
Bro, not cool. Not cool.
Some already are. In ways big
Yo, men, we're acting like we gonna shake it.
and small.
I am strong.
But some is not enough.
It's not how we treat each other, okay? Okay.
Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
This is Claude Lévi-Strauss. Again, you might have encountered him before. I always think he looks really sweet, like somebody's granda or something, which is quite unusual for a famous theorist. Anyway, enough of my opinions. Claude Lévi-Strauss is a 20th century anthropologist. Anthropology is related to sociology, which in turn is related to any subject that considers society, so it's relevant for us. One of the most famous concepts Lévi-Strauss coined was binary oppositions, or binary opposites. This is where things that are not actually opposite are presented as if they are. It's a cultural thing. Culture takes things that are somewhat different from one another, like women and men, for example, and presents them as very different from each other, as opposite to each other, when actually they have a lot of similarities. A similar thing can happen with different identities in a context of conflict, or with different items where one is permitted and another is not. Think about the dietary aspects of different religious faiths, for example, or even societal ones like vegetarianism and veganism. There's often a power or control element to binary oppositions. For example, one element is considered better than the other, or, as I've said, one is permitted by a culture and the other is not. It is taboo. Let's explore binary opposites in advertising messages. The way they work builds on what we've been saying about basic meanings in Saussure's sense. The shadow, if you like, of one part of the binary opposite actually informs the meaning of the other. We are encouraged to be simultaneously like one thing and not like another thing. Whilst traditional advertising reinforced binary opposites and therefore stereotypes, it is now common to see binary opposites challenged or played with. Check out this Malteser's ad.
So, new boyfriend. Right. And we are back at his, getting a little frisky. Don't frisky. My hands may have been wandering slightly. Go on. And then I start having a spasm. No. Which he misinterprets. Oh, so awkward. He was a good lady. You're so bad, is what he said.
It could be analysed as re-evaluating two sides of a binary opposition, ability and disability, presenting a scenario in which disability gives one more power than traditionally considered ability would to great comedic effect. Now check out this Haribo ad.
I just want to talk about this Haribo Star Mix Sweeties. I like the hearts because they make me feel love. And also I like the rings. And the gold bears. Because it looks like it's a ring when they go swimming so they don't drown. Then look, you can make a big, big sandwich.
Childhood and adulthood are often presented as binary opposites, with adulthood being more powerful. But this ad, again to great comedic effect, makes us question how useful the traditional career-focused adult wins actually are, and asks whether we shouldn't instead approach things as children do. In the next ad we'll watch, Dove take things that are often presented as binary opposites with relative value attached, like smaller and larger body size and differently empowered ethnicities, and undermine the binaries to make the product all-encompassing. The clip we're about to watch reminds us how careful brands need to be, not to, consciously or otherwise, undermine their message. It's from Russia Today and can be found on YouTube.
The skincare brand Dove has pulled a racially insensitive advertisement that sparked outrage over the weekend. The ad went viral on social media after being shared by a popular makeup artist. Dove has since apologized, but many consumers say they plan to boycott the brand. RT's Brigida Santos joins me now live from Los Angeles with the story. Brigida, Dove has advertised itself over the years as the real beauty brand. So what went wrong here? What did the ads show?
Ashley, this was only a 3-second ad, but in 3 seconds they managed to stir up quite the controversy. Now, in this ad, there were 3 women depicted. First, a black woman, a white woman, and then an Asian woman. Now, the way that it was done, however, made it appear as if the black woman had washed herself with Dove soap and then turned into a white woman. So you can imagine how this caused such outrage. Now, it was first called out by a beauty artist, makeup artist, Naomi Leanne Blake. Now, she took screenshots of this and shared them on her own Facebook page. From there, it went viral, getting shared thousands of times across Twitter and Facebook. And basically, she says here the main point of her calling this out is that it's sending a subliminal message that people who are white might be better than those who are black. And whether or not that was the intention here, I'm sure that it wasn't. It's still, it's hard to believe that it was overlooked the way that it was. Now, Dove has responded on Saturday. In fact, they posted an apology, as did their parent company Unilever, that states, quote, "An image we recently posted on Facebook missed the mark in representing women of color thoughtfully. We deeply regret the offense it caused. However, as you said, the damage is done. A lot of consumers took to social media using the hashtag #DoneWithDove, basically saying that they are going to now boycott this brand. And of course, this ad is reminiscent of racist soap ads of the past in the early 19th century. They are the real beauty brand, designed to celebrate women of all colors, shapes, and sizes, but unfortunately, they completely missed the mark here, Ashley.
It sure looks like that, Brigida. Thank you so much. Brigida Santos reporting in Los Angeles.
Nike, with their Dream Crazy campaign fronted by Colin Kaepernick, drew on an existing power-imbalanced binary opposite, that is, a binary opposite constructed by society, not a natural one, that of white and black ethnicities, and rather than evening out the power imbalance, actually turned it on its head and proactively chose to make the minority dominant, foregrounding the voices, the identities, and the struggles of black people. As an aside, I choose to use the term black because that is the term used for campaigners for equality from my generation. You may prefer to use people of colour. Either is acceptable. You may be aware of the backlash and abuse this campaign got from some consumers. If anyone was in any doubt that equality wasn't still an issue, the vitriol of some of the comments and boycotts reminded us otherwise. Why not do a Google or YouTube search to explore the struggle that went on if you're not familiar with it? This problematising of binary opposites by advertisers can be likened to the way minority groups reclaim language, or how critical theory approaches to art and literature that turn things on their heads to highlight inequalities. A great example of advertising highlighting inequalities in this way is this ad from Save the Children.
Happy birthday to you.
Make a wish.
Granny.
Hello.
Have you done your homework?
Adam.
Here it comes.
On and clashes with
Live ammunition against deserve to get shot.
Bye, Mum.
airstrikes on rebel position.
We are going to stay.
Tablet.
Go.
Heavy fighting in Richmond.
Where are we?
Rebel forces advancing.
If we find ourselves more shocked and more upset about what happens to children in a war context if the child is white and from the UK, that really makes us question our privilege and our prejudices. I'd now like you to pause for thought for a moment and think about these questions in relation to advertisers' challenging messages. What do you think? I really think it can vary from ad to ad and from campaign to campaign. It can depend on the context of the ad and the context of the business or organisation. It's harder, but not impossible, for a profit-making business's work to be seen as emancipatory than it is for a charity's, isn't it? Now, bearing in mind the various points and issues we've explored in this video, I'd like you to try this task. It always helps reinforce our understanding if we apply ideas ourselves. This isn't official weekly work, it's just something for you to ponder. I hope you've enjoyed exploring paradigmatic choices with me. The other 2 videos for this week explore syntagmatic choices. See you in the next video.